Hi there, and welcome to Empowered Abundance. I'm Lori, and we are getting set for principle number 2. And I am super excited about principle number 2 because it was a total game changer for me. Like, my personal and spiritual development was a little frustrating for quite a while. And then I got this concept and I was like, oh my gosh, like I get it. And it was manageable. And so I don't know about you guys, but in my personal development, it's like I'll apply something and then I'll feel stuck. And then I'll have to find something else to apply and then I get stuck. And that stuckness was a super frustrating time. But this concept basically eliminated the frustration of the stuckness, and it actually didn't even become stuckness, it just became shiftness. So and you'll understand what I'm talking about in just a minute. So just like we talked about yesterday, and actually even in the introduction, we are 100% physical and 100% spiritual. Okay, so principle number 2 is the pendulum. Okay, so this 100% physical part of us, we can liken to our personal efforts, our personal persona even, our own choices, our own decisions, if you will. And then we can liken this 100% spiritual, non-physical part of us to be more like the God side, or whoever you pray to, right? Like God's will, destiny, fate, universal intelligence, right? So there's these two parts. Here is my super fancy example of pendulum, the pendulum. So here is the side of us that's 100% spiritual, and here's the side of us that's 100% physical. And there are things that we can apply on the 100% physical side, like setting intentions, like being the creator of our own reality, where a lot of people would apply the law of attraction, and our own efforts and free will, and making up our own mind and choice. And the other side would look more like praying, like letting go, surrender, if you will, giving things to a higher power, right? Some of those buzzwords, okay? So when we are moving through this personal development thing, most of us will start out on the far side of the 100% physical, right? We will, actually, you know what? I'm going to say that's not even true. We could start on the far side of either one of these. So wherever we start, we're starting at the extremes, right? And then we're not developing, or we find that we're frustrated, or we're not getting what we want in life, which ultimately, remember, is this fully alive thing, right? And so wherever you're at on the extremes of the pendulum, if you recognize that living fully alive is the center of the pendulum, which means you're living in the fullness of the 100% physical side of you and the 100% spiritual side of you, or non-physical side of you. And if you really think about it, what that means is at some point in time, you hit 0% of the physical and 0% of the non-physical. So it's this paradox of the yes of both. But that's the goal, that's the ideal, that's the walking on water, living in that 100% of the time, right? But again, we're not going to do that maybe ever in this lifetime, but we know it's possible, right? So that's the goal. But what's really cool about recognizing that that's the goal and it's somewhere is possible is it allows us to navigate this whole thing, right? So if you have been applying something like the law of attraction, where you set an intention, you focus on what you want, and it's not showing up, chances are you're functioning too much in the 100% physical side of you, and you need to apply some of the principles on the non-physical side of you. So maybe you need to practice letting go. Maybe you need to practice giving it to your higher power, giving it to God, right? But if you're feeling like, man, I've been praying, I've been waiting for God's will, and now you're frustrated and feeling defeated, well, that's a really good indicator that maybe you need to get up off the couch. Maybe you need to apply some of these other things, like making a choice for yourself, deciding what is in your heart to do, right? And how do we tell kind of like what side of the pendulum we're on to know how do we swing and what direction do we need to go? And really, if you feel like you're tired and you're efforting and it's been like toilsome, chances are you're on the physical side of you, trying to do it in your own strength. But if you're feeling defeated and you're feeling like a victim and you're feeling like everybody else gets the good stuff in life and you don't, then you're probably hanging out on the side of the non-physical part of you too much. And so how do we make those adjustments? Well, one really cool thing is when you just recognize where you're at and you shift your focus, and say you're toiling and you've been efforting and you go, okay, I recognize that I'm efforting, and so that must mean that somewhere I need to apply letting God take over, or praying about this, or letting it go. Then just having that awareness will actually send the pendulum swinging, right? So after we have awareness, we can let the natural flow of the pendulum take over. And then we'll apply some of these things on the non-physical side of us, right? And then when we get to a point where we're feeling like a victim and we're feeling like, oh my gosh, I've let go and nothing's happening, right? Because you're going to get some shift and you're going to get some change. You have to, because you're changing the trajectory of the pendulum, right? So when that shifts, now easy, look over to the other side. How do I need to start applying some of these? And you guys, you're going to swing the pendulum like this quite a bit. But here's the good news. Wherever you've started, the pendulum will swing on this side, and then it'll swing on this side, and then it'll swing on this side, and then it'll swing on this. So do you see how eventually it's going to end up in the middle? But what's really cool is each time you're swinging through this 100%, 100%, 0, 0. Your subconscious mind, the innards of you that are functioning from the depths of your being, are going to start recognizing what it feels like to be in that space, which is why you're going to recognize it sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner, right? Until you can navigate it better, right? And here's the thing, you guys, again, I don't foresee myself walking on water anytime soon, so I'm navigating this thing, but it becomes actually fun when we recognize what this is. It becomes fun. It becomes a challenge instead of a problem. It becomes exciting and discovery-ness instead of this, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I can't do it. I don't know why this isn't working anymore, right? So it's not about not swinging the pendulum. It's about learning to navigate the pendulum so this life becomes fun. And that is the essence of living fully alive. So again, this is one of those principles that I'm so excited about, because really it was such a game changer for me, because it gave me more control to let go. And again, this paradox is the funnest place on earth. And so recognizing that the paradox exists, or living in the midst of the paradox, makes life enjoyable, right? So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to ask. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for principle number 3. Thanks.